Welcome to another day in the Matrix. Waters above crypto. The altcoins are looking spicy today while Bitcoin and XRP cool off. Yesterday's Coinbase IPO finished its first day trading with some very obvious ritual numbers. We'll get into that decode shortly. So if you're new here, we do cryptocurrency technical analysis and combine it with the esoteric science of Gematria, Numerology, and Astrology to understand these markets. If you haven't already subscribed and you like what we're doing here, feel free to subscribe. Give this video a like and share this channel with other conscious people to help grow this community. If you'd like to join the Mastermind course, my email is in the description box. There's also a promo code for lifetime access to the Mastermind in the pinned comment below. So let's take the red pill. The first thing we're going to do is look at this Coinbase, the closing that we saw yesterday with very ritual numbers. You can see the price closing at 328.28, so 28 begotten by 28. We're also seeing the post-market freezed at 333. When I woke up this morning and I was looking at the price, it was also fixed around this 333 resistance. Another thing I was seeing was the gain being 5.5 and also the 51 being reverse for 15, which is today. 15 has been a very critical number in all things finances for a long time in this post C-Scam 19 reality that we've been a part of. Of course, we're seeing 322 like skull and bones, and the 68, the 1.68% move, because Coinbase equals 68 in the English ordinal cipher. So for those of you that want to pause this video and come up with some more things to decode from Coin and Coinbase, please feel free to share that in a comment. Would love to see what you guys are thinking. Another thing is people have been asking me why Chainlink has been breaking out, and I think I have a reason. So if I go right here, you can see Chainlink in the Jewish reduction equaling 41, and in the Jewish cipher equaling 140. Yesterday being April 14th, and that was when Chainlink started pumping. So using the rules of numerology, this would become 14, like yesterday's date, and then in reverse, you have the 41, the as above, so below, or the mirror. Another interesting thing about Chainlink is writing today's date as April 15th, 2021. We're seeing the 26 match with Chainlink in the Chaldean cipher. And then we're also seeing the 45 match in the full reduction and reverse full reduction. It's really interesting. One other thing that I was noticing also is whenever I see this 40 number, and also the 76, but the 40 number, it makes me think of Ripple. So Ripple with the 40, April 15th, 2021 with 40, and then also 67 and then 76 as above, so below. So this is interesting also to see how we are having a lot of strength being held for XRP at this $1.70 range. We'll get into that in a moment, but let's look at Chainlink for a second because I've been holding off on most of my altcoins for the mastermind community in the Patreon, but I am going to just show you guys a little bit of the TA into this. So I had the symmetrical triangle. I did make YouTube videos about it in March, probably like when I saw this big dump here. And then we drew the symmetrical triangle. We came down to touch it around March 24th. Again, everything coming back to that 24 and 42 numbers. They're super crucial. And then I had this measured move from top to bottom on this triangle, taking it out to the breakout territory, looking around this $46, $47 range. Now with Chainlink equaling 45, right here, I'm assuming today we're probably going to hit the 45 price target, and then we have potential to go even higher into the 46 and then 54. This is just very basic. I'm not going to do a full-blown Chainlink video right now. I do have one planned, but this is just how it's going to go. And then I also, for later with the Mastermind course videos, I will be doing a further decode into Chainlink using some of the Kabbalah ciphers, so that'll be interesting. I'll build upon this little decode we just did right here. So let's get into some of the charts. I'm going to start with Bitcoin. Bitcoin being very interesting right now due to the structure and how it's holding very similarly to two fractals that I'm going to show. Ultimately, you see this 2618 where I put the big red arrow. That's where I see us fighting on as a topside resistance along with this white trend line. So this white trend line has been in play for quite a while now, and you can see that as of 2 days ago, or perhaps yesterday, sorry, it was a resistance. Now this resistance happening is quite normal because every time Bitcoin breaks a new high, it typically likes to fight in a resistance like sideways consolidation area that slightly moves up, or even does this little movement right here where it pops up, comes back down to confirm a breakout. Right here was a weird exception where we just saw it kind of dancing every day, slightly moving up in this stair-step pattern, and then had this blow off and then huge rejection. This move up was a lot more common, let's just say. This was an interesting one. This one right here was obvious manipulation because this was to push it into a high on the date 13th of March, which was the 1-year anniversary from the cryptocurrency low that happens last year. So on March 13th, Friday the 13th of 2020, that was the rock bottom low that every cryptocurrency hit on that date. And that's what I call a reset. It's a reset when you have all this stuff lose so much of its value and then it instantly gets bought back up and hits new highs within under 3 months. That was pretty much what happened for Bitcoin and all the other cryptocurrencies. It was the greatest buying opportunity we have seen and probably will ever see ever again in this entire financial sector. That includes stocks and other things. But anyways, with that being said, so now I'm looking for this white trend line to play as a resistance up until we're ready to break out. And judging by the amount of time it takes fighting in this area, let's just show after we make highs, it looks like about 7 to 8 days right there. And then here we're looking at about, yeah, let's just say 1 week. So I'll put it from this day right here to about 7 to 8 days, and we're looking for April 21st. And April 21st and April 22nd are going to be days that I'm keeping my eyes on because the 21st date leading into the 24th date, those are two big numbers. And I'll basically show you the reasons why. Comes back to these guys with the 21 and then 42 and then 24 is the reverse. Also coming back to Saturn with the 42. And then I've been showing people how the logo of Jupiter Zodiac is the number 24. That's why on March 24th we saw a huge quick dump for all the altcoins, and it was like the best last buying opportunity for altcoins. For altcoins. It looked like a really bloody day, but it was actually an amazing buying opportunity. So, yep, with that being said, these circles are what I'm looking for, and then eventually breaking through this 2618 and breaking through this white trend line. Those are the two things I'm looking for. As of right now, though, the MACD is still crossed bullish, and then the RSI is trading above 50, which is bullish. The one thing I can mention, though, the obvious bearish divergence on many time frames, but this one is it's noticeable. So what this means is I'm actually anticipating this to break and go higher, and I think that there's a possibility that if Bitcoin closes above $70,000, we could see a $100,000 Bitcoin within 2 weeks after that. Again, pay attention to those words carefully. We could see. I'm not saying we will. It's just according to the Bitcoin logarithmic growth curve chart, That's what happens whenever we close above this orange line. I never leave this chart off my browser. I'm always looking at this chart. So if we close above this, it typically will hit the top of this channel within 2 weeks. That's the average. And that would correspond with breaking out of this bearish divergence. And it would also correspond with all the insane money printing that's going on and the financial destruction while the stock market is hitting brand new all-time highs day after day after day. Today being kind of weird with XRP and with Bitcoin makes sense to me because today is the 15th of April, which if you watch yesterday's video, you can see that today's a very ritual date. I haven't heard of anything yet. Again, I don't watch TV, I don't watch the news. I kind of just wait for people to fill me in with that kind of stuff. But with that being said, anything could happen today. It's pretty much an annual thing, you know, like every single year on the 15th of April, there's something big that occurs. Let's go into this chart really quickly. It's a chart that I've been really enjoying just because of how clean it is. You can see this downtrending red trend line. We broke out of it, we confirmed support, and then had a nice big green candle, and then now we're consolidating above the previous all-time high. So the way this typically works is we will get to this trend line, and then we'll dance along this trend line. So if you can see from back here, we have this moment where we were trading above it. The moment we closed above it, we jumped straight to the top. Same thing here, we got above it, we danced along the top of this heart line, jumped to the top, and then here we're still trading below it. So there's room for us to actually keep moving sideways. With that being said, I wouldn't really be surprised at this point if we have like a last minute end of the month breakout. The reason being is because if I measure 117 days, we're looking at the 28th of April, and Bitcoin equals 117 in the reverse full reduction cipher. So the 117 is something I'm keeping in mind for sure. Yeah, so we could look for that. Now I'm going to move on to XRP. Oh, actually, one more quick thing before I move on to XRP. The 3-day closure is tonight, so that means the 3-day candle will be closing around 8 p.m. Eastern time, and that is very good because if we close at these levels we're at right now, we will have the highest 3-day closure high in history, and that's a continuation sign for me. Typically, new candle body close highs on macro timeframes like the 2-day, 3-day, and of course the weekly would be coming up in a couple days as well. That's continuation, especially when we're below this heart line. And now I'm going to move on to XRP, our favorite banker coin. I'm just kidding. So if I go to this 4-hour, we're going to see some interesting things playing out. It looks like we are just coiling up like we did back in this territory over here, which is really nice. I like to see this. So we have this red trend line. This red trend line, I believe, will be very, very crucial for us. But I also think that there's a possibility that we have a trend line forming right here. And you could just see from these dip wicks, this wick here, and then how it connects to this previous consolidation range before it popped up. So there is a pennant forming on these lower time frames. You could draw this pennant like this if you wanted to. Again, pennants are different from triangles. People say triangle too often, like symmetrical, asymmetrical, descending triangle, etc. But that's incorrect because triangles typically take a week or 2 weeks or even months. Pennants are just smaller time frames. So anyways, I go over that stuff in my mastermind course if you guys want to learn more about that. But the measured move of this going from the top to the bottom, looking at about, if I pull it here, which we're getting super close to the breakout, we're looking at around $2.20. Also, that would make a lot of sense because that's 22, which is a very important number. And then the $2.30 I've been anticipating because that's what XRP equals 23. So look, 22 and 23 are part of XRP, and that would make total sense to hit the 22 as a number you can't reduce with the rules of numerology. It's a very important number, just like we saw all that resistance back at $1.11 for 11, another really critical number. So the 22 is next. Again, the video I posted a couple days ago, I mentioned the $2.30 XRP being my next upside target. And now we have a pennant forming with a measured move perfectly leading us to that area. So you can see how we combine the Gematria with the technical analysis. It's not just about one or the other. They're both very, very crucial. So on this 4 hour, everything's looking fine. We're getting a really nice support by this bottom trend line, and this can keep extending for sure. We don't know how this will go. This could keep going out for a while, and ultimately the last line of defense would be this red trend line. So if we were to break below that red trend line, I anticipate there could be a little blood, and that would almost look like a head and shoulders, something akin to this, where you have left shoulder, head, and then right shoulder falling out of this red trend line. And then I would expect us to get picked up at the $1.11 mark, which would be the previous support over here, flipping it as support essentially. And I mean, this is looking really bullish. As long as this market continues to move up with Bitcoin and all the other altcoins, I don't see why XRP would start to just tank down to $1 right now. It doesn't seem possible. Well, anything's possible, but it doesn't seem plausible. I'll leave it at that. A couple other things. I'm going to bring up some of the macro things that are going on. So we have the 3-day, which is looking incredible for XRP. Look at this. If I hide all the drawings, you can just see we are just putting on these crazy green candles. If I pull up the Bollinger Band indicator, we're going to see that we are trading above the topside Bollinger Band. We haven't come and touched the top side, so that's typically not good when you have gaps like that. These gaps tend to fill on the 3-day and the weekly. But with that being said, we're going to close this in like 7 or 8 hours, and I highly doubt we're going to dump to $1.40. So this is going to be a really nice 3-day closure where we're outside of the Bollinger Band. Amazing. Same thing with the 2-day. The 2-day will be closing in a couple days. And then the daily, we are actually within the Bollinger Band. So again, it would make sense to consolidate for a couple more days and then pop up, kind of like we did right back here. And if you look at this daily candle, this was a 16, if you look right here, it was almost 17% red candle. Right now, we're just looking at 4.5%. So this is so bullish. It's crazy. I mean, this is like really looking good. I don't want to get too ahead of myself though, because I've told everyone 30 days is what we see with XRP cycles. It moves up for 30 days. Somewhere in the middle, it starts to drop and it creates a big mountain. So that's in the card still, not to burst anyone's bubble, but that's just the reality of things. So I'm going to leave that there. Also, the DXY we've been tracking because it is seeing some really bloody days as the days go by into our government's accepting infinite money from the Federal Reserve scam system. They're doing a great job at keeping the masses poor while we get richer here in crypto land. And we were tracking this channel, and this channel, we fell out of it, trading into it today, and we'll see how the rest of this goes. If I bring it into a smaller time frame, like the 4 hour, you can see how perfect this channel is. Look at all that resistance. It's like it doesn't want to get above it. If I bring it up like that, it makes so much more sense. So this is the 4 hour, and we're seeing like, you know, a full day's worth of 4 hour candles where we just can't get back in there. And that's a good sign. That's a good sign for us. It's not a good sign for humanity. Again, this could also pull off like some bigger dump to the downside and then get supported at this 89 level, because that's where we got supported right here, and right here. So one other thing to mention though is the more you break down into a support line, it tends to crack. So this could be one of the times where it cracks, but I do think that they'll keep this shit rolling as long as they can. You know, we all know that. And that means they'll keep pushing it down and then sideways for a while and then maybe make a new low and then pull it back up. They just like to fuck with everyone. That's what that's about. 10-year yield is finally pulling back this is a good thing, I believe. It's also why we're seeing stock markets hitting record highs again. So one other thing to mention though, I was talking about this W breakout pattern on the NASDAQ around early March, and it's so great to see that pull out. The only thing I don't like about it is this W neckline hasn't been retested really, had a couple trading days, but yeah, it could pull back to that and create a higher new W. And of course, we'll end this video with 333. Coinbase now live with the 333. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their day in the Matrix. Much love.